Good evening, I'm Brendan Miller. At tomorrow's meeting, City Council will decide whether to put the temporary homeless village on Miles Street East. That's administration's recommendation, but members of the Fort William BIA are pushing back.
We can't develop in a downtown core? I thought the whole plan of revitalization was to encourage development in the downtown, was to revitalize the downtown. Again, we're asking the question, how does this dovetail with the millions of dollars we're spending on revitalization in the downtown core? How does this attract new businesses, new opportunities for people that want to come in the core area?
BIA Chair Aldo Roberto argues the village would hurt area businesses and residents. Members say that they've yet to find anyone in the downtown in favor of the Miles Street plan. City staff believe the location is ideal because it's close to social services. Along with this, there's already many encampments nearby, with this offering a safer place to stay for the homeless. City Encampment Response Lead Riley Willinen says it's time for a new approach.
You know, we've seen year over year that the situation just continues to worsen, so it's fairly reasonable to assume that the situation will be worse next year if we don't do anything decisive. An alarming spike in the number of people that are living unsheltered after that April month is over. So to start to build relationships with people who we know are going to end up living on the streets unless we do something, it's important for us to start that work in advance.
If council approves the location tomorrow, staff plan to have the village operational by April 30th. The Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing was congratulating his government at Queen's Park this week, saying their commitment to infrastructure for small and rural communities is greatly appreciated by the Northern Ontario Municipal Association. But Kiiwetinoong MPP Sol Mamakwa disputed that. He says there are not enough housing investments being made for certain communities, such as Sioux Lookout, which is in a housing crisis. He connects the lack of housing to the growing labor shortage in the north.
And they were very grateful for the fact that the government made an infrastructure commitment for small and rural communities, which they had never seen before. Of course, we're delivering that infrastructure right now with the Minister of Infrastructure. One of the things they did raise was the fact that there is so much economic activity now that is coming to Northern Ontario because of the changes and the investments that we are not only that we are making, but we are allowing to happen in Northern Ontario. Northern Roads, of course, the Ring of Fire speaker, all of the things that we are doing are attracting so many people to Northern Ontario.
In Sioux Lookout, the lack of housing increases the labor shortage and the high rates of homelessness. While they accommodate over 25,000 each year, 25,000 people who travel from First Nations to access services. Will the minister join me in Sioux Lookout to see the housing crisis for himself?
Northwestern Ontario's winter conditions can be harsh. With the season approaching, MPP Lise Vaugeois made a statement at Queen's Park this past week outlining the added dangers of the province's new school transportation formula. It's created increased distances between school bus pickup and drop-off locations for kids, as well as decreased student eligibility for busing.
I have letters from parents afraid for their children who must now walk in the dark along highways, cross major intersections, and, once the snow flies, stumble along ice-covered streets without sidewalks, at risk of frostbite, and easily hit by cars when the snow is piled high. Boards have $1,500 less per student because of cuts to education. A responsible government would remove barriers and prioritize funding our public schools so that every child can travel safely to school, have the supports they need, and receive the world-class education they deserve.
Bringing things back more local, the Thunder Bay Country Market recently hosted a Bridging the Gap event to connect farmers, growers, grocers, and all sides of the local food business. The overall goal is to create more locally sourced food opportunities in the city. Riley Cohen reports.
There were positive vibes at the country market as participants got together to bridge the gap for local food production. Chloe Langlois works for the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture. She set up the event hoping to create a unique opportunity to learn about local sourcing initiatives and connect through networking with local producers, procurement specialists, grocers, and restaurant owners. Langlois' goal was to build valuable partnerships and strengthen the local food system. She says that's extra important in a city like Thunder Bay that is so isolated and heavily relies on overseas products shipped into big-name stores.
We have so many amazing small food producers, and they don't have a lot of opportunity to get into some of those larger scale procurement opportunities. So whether it's looking at institutions in our schools and other areas that we think it's very important to have healthy food and supporting our businesses to continue to grow. We have a lot of logistical challenges and infrastructure issues up here in the north, so a lot of the time we don't have opportunity to expand into larger markets. So giving more opportunity for us to network right here at home.
I know there was a study about 10 years ago that showed if every single household in Ontario spent only $10 a week on local food, would put almost $2.5 billion in the economy and create over 10,000 jobs. That's just $10 a week. That's the cost of going to McDonald's once, essentially. So if you have one purchase and all those jobs and the ripple effects that'll come out of that and supporting our region is very exciting.
The event attendees were engaged socializing with one another and building connections to better themselves, their business, and the local community as a whole.
Even make that next jump or that next business readiness position to get into even somewhere like Maltese or George's Market, or optimizing on getting a local opportunity here at the market to be able to share their products and show that the quality is here. You have that connection and commitment to that grower or that producer, and that food really isn't more expensive when it doesn't have to travel as far.
Riley Cohen, TBT News.
The 10th anniversary of Craft Revival took over the Waterfront District today. Hundreds of people took in the different vendors and entertainment, all in support of local crafters. Emma Chilton has a story.
This year's Craft Revival had 22 locations, 191 artisans, and well over 5,000 people. Artisans and performers were happy to display their talents and wares through the event, and the variety of products offered means there is something for everyone. Shoppers were able to enjoy live music, performances, horse sleigh rides, food, and drinks. Event founder Malin Hurley says the importance of the community coming together to promote local artisans and businesses is key to a thriving community.
It's really important that we spend our money locally and we support these small businesses that are, just helping to create the culture and community that we have here in Thunder Bay. Every dollar spent local means the world of a difference to these small business owners down here. We really need it. So we appreciate everyone coming out today. It means a lot.
Jennifer Barrow, local author of Tigers and Teddy Bears, says that as a first-time vendor, it's amazing to see the amount of support for local artists the community shows.
Yeah, it was my first time, so it was amazing to have everybody here and show up, and Thunder Bay shows up for Craft Revival so much. Laura's been here for a couple of years now in Craft Revival, and yeah, I think it's just overwhelmingly every time to just see how many people come down and show support for Thunder Bay and local artists, and it's just amazing.
The next Craft Revival will be the weekend before Mother's Day, and for more information, residents can go to their website and social media pages. Emma Chilton, TBT News.
Siblings Patricia Del Pagio and Dr. Joseph Del Pagio held the Dancing with the Docs event Saturday in honor of their late mother, who passed away from cancer in 2019. The charity event raised money for the Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Center Northern Center Pet Program. 8 local doctors and their dance partners have been rehearsing their numbers for months to prepare for the charity event. The night started with a big group performance with all 8 couples dancing together before competing for the judges as teams.
We have 8 local physicians dancing with elite dancers in our community, and they are dancing for charity. They're dancing to raise money for laboratory services. It's very similar to Dancing with the Stars, so they're going to be scored and voted on by an elite panel of judges and our audience members.
This is a group of really unsung heroes who work night and day to provide data to all the doctors that really guides patient care. You know, without them, we wouldn't be able to provide effective care, in my opinion.
The show sold all 500 tickets. Patricia, charity event coordinator, says that even before performance began and final funds were counted, it already had raised $120,000. This year's funds will go directly towards laboratory services for cancer care patients at the hospital.